just a show that I'm greater. I mean, steak and potatoes on the way to Decatur. Maybe there's just a little made up.
Impact Wrestling occurred, and you know what? There's actually some things that took place that's worth talking about. Some actually probably one of the better episodes of Impact Wrestling, if we're being quite honest. I actually got into this episode a little bit. The opening match was, of course, really good. Laredo Kid versus Alex Zane versus Trey Miguel. It was an extremely choreographed, athletic match, but it was fun. This is part of their X Division series. They're having some type of gag to get another X Division champion. They're doing triple threat matches. I don't even remember where this is leading to. I think it's going to lead to a triple threat match. It might be a triple threat match tournament or whatever. But it's this was a old school X Division match that was full of spots, but it was highly choreographed. There was a Hurricane Rana inside the ring out by Trey Miguel. Of course, Laredo Kid just stood there, innocent like a deer in headlights and let it happen. There was a double Hurricane Rana by Alex Zane. Oh, God. Trey Miguel did a leap off the back of Laredo Kid into a top rope Hurricane Rana. It was then rolled. It went into a roll so that Trey Miguel could use like an almost sharpshooter like submission hold. So it wasn't even a full Hurricane Rana. There was a 450 splash by Laredo Kid on both opponents. That was pretty cool. And the most egregious thing is a springboard cutter on Trey Miguel that turned into a splash by Trey Miguel onto Alex Zane. It was crazy. So after you've done all of that, what's the finish? Well, a meteor from the top rope. Trey wins. Right guy won. I like Laredo Kid. I think that he would have been a good choice too, but I've been campaigning for Trey Miguel to get a spot on this, in a title or something on this show. So finally, they're doing something. So Matthew Rehwoldt, a member of the Vaudevillains, well, formerly of the Vaudevillains, has said that he likes Laredo Kid. He likes his style, man. He sees him as poetry in motion. That Laredo Kid is an artiste, and that people in his position usually would attack his mask, think he has something to hide, and attack his legacy, but not him, because he understands Laredo Kid. He understands why he wears a mask. He understands his art, and he wants to show him how much he understands his art. It was real creepy. They're doing something different with Matthew Rehwoldt. I really wish he would have had a working name and not gone with this Rehwoldt thing. It sounds like an NXT name generator. They finally brought up that Sami Callihan had a broken ankle. They blamed it on Morrissey and Moose and storyline. Callihan had to be carried out. The main event was then turned into a street fight between Morrissey and Eddie Edwards. Moose was banned from ringside. Eddie Edwards cut a promo saying that him and Sammy knew what they were getting into. But Morrissey has never played this game before. Said that he's been taken care of his entire career. But this is Impact. This is the land of misfit toys. He's the most misfit of them all. Then says he's going to take care of Morrissey, and then Moose is next. This takes us to the main event of the show, where Eddie Edwards defeats Morrissey because Alicia Edwards came down to the ring. And she started hitting Morrissey in the back with the kendo stick, just kind of being a distraction. She wasn't really hurting him. The finish came with a Boston knee party into a barbed wire covered chair into Morrissey's head. Morrissey loses to somebody he shouldn't be losing to. Look, I don't understand what's up with Eddie Edwards, man. Why do you love this guy so much? He just seems to be beating people he ain't got no business beating. In any event, post-match, Morrissey and Moose beat the hell out of Eddie Edwards. They put a chair around his neck, rammed him into the ring post, put him through a table and some more stuff. It was tame. I don't like the idea of Morrissey losing so much, but I guess if he's not going to be world champion, I guess it doesn't matter, right? All right, so The Influence, which is Madison Rayne and Tenille Dashwood, they defeated Rachel Ellering and Jordan Grace. Now they will get Decay at Bound for Glory. Or will it be Knockout's show? I don't remember. I think it's a knockout show. They will be wrestling the tag team champions. So it's going to be Decay versus the Influence at the knockout show. Christopher Daniels is back. Christopher Daniels said there was no need for him to knock on the forbidden door because he helped build the house. Josh Alexander and Christian Cage offered to watch his back tonight because he is going to be getting into it with Madman Fulton. He says that he appreciates it, but he's not just back to help those guys. He's got his own agenda. After he took off, Christian says to Josh Alexander that he came out there to help him, not because they're best buds, not because he likes him, but because he didn't want any excuses that Bound for Glory. And that he also has issues with Ace Austin. He also said that Josh Alexander was emotional and that if he wanted to be world champion, he's going to have to learn how to get his emotions in check. Okay, so from there, we get to Brian Myers and his How to Be a Professional. In this particular episode, they're talking about physical fitness. So he forced them to do 250 push-ups. Sam was doing the push-ups. He was just doing them very slowly. Zicky Dice is a heavyweight. He couldn't do them. Manny Lemons was having a difficult time doing them. So when they got to 250, they both stood up, found out VSK was already done. To which Sam starts to say, hey, Brian Myers is playing favorites. Brian Myers then blames them for losing his tag team match and says that, if you guys want to continue being students, you're going to have to pick up the pace. Then Sam Beal, of course, then flips and gives Zicky Dice and Manny Lemons notepads and tells them that they're going to have to start taking notes if they want to maintain their spot in this class. The Good Brothers set up a match between Finn Juice and the Bullet Club for the number one contenders. They're not talking about anything. Who cares? This absolutely ruled. Deonna Purrazzo goes to Mickie's house, right? And I saw this and I was like, okay, this is clearly going to be a pile of horse shit. Because when I saw the dirt roads, and I'm like, okay, they lean in very, very heavily into the hardcore country. I know damn well Nick Aldis ain't living like this. I know he ain't out here living like Henry O. Godwin. There's no way. But then it got really fun really fast. So Deonna Purrazzo pulls up. She pulls over, asks some cowhand, do you know where Mickie lives? And of course he knows where Mickie James lives. She lives around yonder. So Deonna drives over there with a cameraman, but no less. She gets out. It's muddy. It's like it's standing in the water. Like it's a barn. She goes into the barn. There's nobody else around. It's like a horse stable. She goes in there. Literally nobody else around. No kid running around. No friends. There was no extra cars. Nothing. So she goes into the stable, and there is Mickie James, cleaning the horse stable, or something like that. And they just get into a fight, and they're fighting. And very quickly, Deonna Purrazzo got beat up. Of course, she ended up countering it, but beating her with some buckets. So Deonna Purrazzo starts to fight back. Then she knocks down Mickie James and tips over a wheelbarrow full of horse manure onto her. Of course, it didn't really get all over her. Then she tried locking Mickie James into the stables. Mickie James slid out of it. She tried to kill Mickie with a pitchfork. She says, I'm going to kill your ass. And she swings his pitchfork. Mickie ducks it. They continue to fight. Deonna Purrazzo gets her face smashed into a bale of hay. Mickie is really like grinding her face with a bale of hay. This was awesome. This led Deonna Purrazzo to fight off and then whop Mickie across the head with a helmet. No, it was Mickie whopping Deonna Purrazzo with a helmet. They fight outside where Deonna Purrazzo strangles Mickie with a water hose. Mickie then grabs the water hose and sprays Deonna Purrazzo in the face with it. Then they're spraying each other with water. Mickie bashes her with an empty drum. It's an empty plastic drum. Then she douses her in some water. Then Mickie gets almost drowned in a bucket of standing water that's just like sitting there. This ruled. This was fun as shit. I was not expecting this. Almost like a cinematic match. You know, it was really fun. I love this. This was great. If you're not going to watch anything on this show, watch this. This is the best thing they've done in a long, long time. It completely came out of nowhere because I was not looking. They didn't even promote this. They didn't promote it like Deonna Purrazzo was going to Mickie James' house. See what happens. It was just kind of like, nope, she went to Mickie James' house to start it. So, you know, you come to my house, I'm coming to yours. And it was great. It was great. It was a good fight. And Deonna Purrazzo beat up Mickie James on her own property, which was fun. I loved it. She almost drowned her. You know, they taking this thing to the next level. They're a blood feud situation. Somebody needs to bleed in their match. Shit, if they're gonna be going like this, if you're gonna try to hit somebody with a pitchfork, you know, you going a little far. This was the highlight of the show, as far as I'm concerned. This was awesome. This was awesome. Then we get the highest of the highs to the lowest of the lows. I officially hate Finjuice. They suck. They suck so bad. They complained about being outnumbered and says that it's the numbers game every time with the Bullet Club. But not this time. Now they have a new partner. Now the odds are even, and they introduce Chris Sabin, who is everybody's superhero. He's everybody's best bud all of a sudden. He hates the Bullet Club too, and he's going to help them. I should have talked about this when I was talking about Christopher Daniels, but Christopher Daniels defeated Madman Fulton. Josh Alexander came out there to help him as Ace Austin was punching him in his head when the referee wasn't looking. Madman Fulton got the kick out of the Angel's Wings, which was pretty cool. He kicked out at 1. Ended up doing the job to the, taking the loss to best moonsault ever. This was probably the best I've seen Christopher Daniels look in a while. And as far as him being old, because last year he was so bad in AEW, I wanted him to be retired. I wanted them to sit him down. So apparently he took some time off and just got better, and he just botches less. But he did pretty good here, and it was okay. So Swinger's Palace, Johnny Swinger was very, very nervous because Scott D'Amore was coming to visit. So Scott D'Amore shows up and he proposes this deal for Scott D'Amore that he does not send Impact to Las Vegas, and Swinger gets to keep his casino. And Scott D'Amore is like, wait a minute, what kind of deal is that? Of course, now that Scott D'Amore knows the casino exists, he's like, okay, well, look, surely you've got a gaming license for Las Vegas. And then Johnny Swinger's like, what are you talking about, Daddy? I don't even have a Tennessee license. This led Scott D'Amore to say, well, you should have kayfabed that one, dog, because now I got to shut down your illegal casino. And Johnny Swinger was like, what? He started having a meltdown because Scott D'Amore is going to shut down his casino. Oh, this is so sad. This is so sad. I want Swinger's Palace to last forever. Endeavor. Yeah, this is great. Johnny Swinger is awesome, man. Never go away, John Swinger. All right, so Violent by Design is the last thing we got to talk about here. They cut a promo where they said, Eric Young cut a promo where he said that they had it all. They had all the power, and then somebody had to let the sickness back in, and that person was Rhino. Now Rhino has to make a choice. He's at a crossroads that he created, that you're either with us or you walk away, and no one can walk away. Rhino stands there all dejected and confused and unsure of himself, and then here comes Heath. Big, hulking Heath. I forgot he had gained so much weight and muscle. He ran down to the ring. Heath and Rhino fought off Violent by Design, and then they stood in the ring, and Heath opened his arms to try to get a hug from Rhino. And Rhino looks at Violent by Design, and he looks at Heath. He looks at Heath, and he looks at Violent by Design. He says to himself, you know what? Pass. And he leaves. He goes the other way. He goes through the crowd. He decides he's not going to go with either one this week. Okay, they're fighting for the custody of Rhino, who is 48 years old or something like that. But it ought to be fun. You know, they did a good job with this whole Violent by Design thing. I really wish they had kept the titles. that would have pushed this back a little bit further. But I appreciate at least that they're doing something now, and I like it. You know, I like Violent by Design. I love the idea of like this cult that now Rhino has tried to break free of the brainwashing that he had went through in this cult, and Heath is going to be there to try to help him. You know, so that ought to be fun too. All right, so the last little piece of business here for Impact is they're going to have a digital media championship, which is the absolute last thing Impact needs is another title. I don't see what the purpose of this is, but it's going to be some type of tournament full of job guys like Zicky Dice and Crazy Steve. I don't see how this is going to benefit anybody. I don't see why anybody cares. What is this? It's going to be like a YouTube championship. If you know the details of this thing, let me know, please. All I know is it was not important enough for them to talk about at the top of the show. They put it somewhere in the middle as they were talking about other things. I just don't know why they have so many failed titles. We don't need extra belts in Impact. We need better booking of the belts that we have. You know, that's all. Just make your world champion a guy from Impact. You know, just like not have your X Division title be like be vacant for like a month and a half. You know, well, it's not gonna be that. It's not gonna be that long. It's probably about 2 weeks. But I don't see the point of a new championship. I don't know. Maybe if I see it, I'll get over it. Maybe it's gonna be like a TV title, but for digital media, where it's like an Impact Plus only title, or maybe it's gonna be like a pay-per-view only title, or maybe it's gonna be like a YouTube only title, or something like that. Maybe there's gonna be like certain parameters to it that may make it special, but they didn't do anything by making it special by who they put in this tournament. Looking at the people who are in the tournament, just the 4 names that I know. Yeah, that's not going to be fun. Crazy Steve, Zicky Dice, and, some other people that don't matter. Hernandaddy. There's somebody else. I'm forgetting who it is. It doesn't matter. So I'm not looking forward to the Digital Media Championship being one of the most prestigious titles in the history of our sport. I doubt it lasts the end of the year. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel, donate to the channel. Thank you guys for your time, man. I'll talk to you guys later.